And so it's very important that you keep things simple. I want you to remember the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, silly. For my more aggressive people, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. All right? Keep it simple. Welcome back to the Leaders Only podcast, where we talk about business, leadership mindset, and just pretty much anything revolved around building an incredible life. You know, one of the reasons that I started this podcast is because I felt like on the way to where we're at now, there wasn't really a place to go to learn tangible skills that are needed in order to succeed and further yourself and just get better overall in every area of your life. And so some background about me, I built a sales company that does over 8 figures a year. I own over $10 million worth of real estate, and I've built a multiple 7-figure income that's streamlined and in all honesty doesn't really need me. I plan on teaching you and documenting everything that I learned along the way. And if you get something out of today's message, if you can do me a favor, if you can like, share, and subscribe, it will give us the ability to further our message and help more people, which is what we're all about. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive in. And today I'm going to be going over 5 non-negotiable thoughts that a prospect has to think and believe in order for you to have the ability to recruit them. And so if you're in a business that recruits, whether it's multi-level marketing, maybe you're in the financial industry and you're trying to build an insurance agency or financial agency, maybe you're a real estate broker and you're trying to grow your real estate team, whatever it might be. Maybe you're a mortgage broker and you want to grow your mortgage team. There are 5 non-negotiable thoughts that every prospect has to think if they are going to join you in business. And I want to go over what those thoughts are in order to help you scale and grow. And I'm speaking from a perspective of someone who's recruited thousands and thousands of thousands of people in my industry, which is the financial and insurance industry. And so I want to go over this with you guys because this is a thought process and this is a strategy that works effectively, not only for myself, but for everyone that I'm leading, which is thousands of people. And if it works for me and it works for them, I think it can work for you as well, which is why I want to go over it with you all. So let's dive in. So the first thought that every prospect needs to think if they're interviewing with your company is the thought that these are good people, but not desperate people. Let me say it again. You need to make sure that when interacting with you and when they leave the conversation, they feel in their heart that these are good people. These are integrity-driven people. These are character-driven people. These are faith-based people, if that's what the goal that you have, right? They just need to feel in their hearts that they're interacting and dealing with good people, but not desperate people. Because I could be a great person, but come across desperate. And if you need me, you can't lead me. Let me say that again. If you need me, you can't lead me. So if I'm sitting down with a potential prospect and I'm making it seem as if we need them and as if we are desperate for them, then I'm not going to be able to lead them into joining my business and getting involved with our firm. But if I can make it very clear, hey, listen, I like you. I think you're a great person. But we're not looking for everyone. There are certain standards that we have. There are certain standards that need to be met if we're going to move forward with you as an agent of our firm. There are certain standards that you're going to have to live up to and certain expectations that we're going to have of you if you're going to work with our firm. So if we allow you to work with our firm, if we decide that we want to move forward with you, let's say you qualified to work with us, do I have your commitment that X, Y, and Z is going to happen? Do I have your commitment that you're going to operate with X, Y, and Z morals and values? Do I have your commitment that you're going to go out there and accomplish and or achieve X, Y, and Z in the next 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, right? If you're in a business that requires state licensing, like maybe real estate or a financial business, hey, do I have your commitment that you're going to get your license in the next 7 days? We're only looking to move forward with people that can get a license quickly because as much as we love you, as much as we like you, we legally can't pay you without that state license. So if I decide to move forward with you today, and let's say you qualified to work with us, is there any reason why you couldn't get that license in the next 7 days? So what this does, it allows them to see that we are not desperate. And so yes, you need to come across as a good person. Yes, you need to come across as if you care because you should actually care. That's just the right thing to do. And if you don't care, you should probably get out of that industry, get out of the business, because in my business, I can't stand people that don't care. I want them gone. So hopefully you feel the same way about your business. But if you are someone who genuinely cares, show that. Show that you're a good person. I think a lot of times when somebody is in an authority position where they are recruiting and or hiring people into their company, they have this ego to them of why do I need you? Or why is this? Why is that? And what that does, it makes them not want to be in business with you. You got to realize that if you are trying to recruit somebody to your business, they are thinking to themselves, do I want to be in life with this person every single day? And if they don't want to see you every day, and if they don't want to talk to you every day, and if they didn't like you, then why in the world would they join you in business to then have to see you every day, someone that they didn't like? So just realize that it's very important to show that you're a good person. Talk about the integrity of the company. Talk about your integrity. Talk about why this matters so much to you. Talk about those things to show your heart, to show how much you care, and to show that you are a genuine person that's just trying to make a difference. But then also don't give it away, take it away. People want what they can't have. So the moment you give something away, people don't value it as much. It's the reason people value diamonds more than they value water. Water is easier to get. Diamonds are harder to get. You can live without diamonds, but you can't live without water. Yet people treat diamonds like it's more valuable than water because it's harder to get. So the harder you make your business to get, the more people will want it. The more you give it away, the less people will want it. So remember, every single new prospect that interviews with our firm and or you are trying to recruit to your company, they need to have the thought that these are good people, but not desperate people. These are good people, but they don't need me. So make sure that that's communicated in a respectful way. Hey, listen, if you qualify to work with us, or I'm not saying that we will, but let's say we decided to move forward with you, would you accomplish X, Y, and Z? Hey, listen, you seem like an amazing person, but these standards need to be met if we're going to move forward with someone. Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to meet those standards? Hey, listen, I think you're great, but it's going to require X, Y, and Z of you. And so if we decided to move forward with you, if I decided that I wanted to work with you directly, let's say you qualified to work with us. Let's say we decided to fill out an application to see if we can even get you approved. Do I have your commitment that you're going to go do X, Y, and Z? And if you can get that down, and if you can control the narrative, if you can have that posture when communicating with people, it's going to make it a lot easier to recruit somebody. The second thought that people need to think is that this is a legitimate company and this is a legitimate opportunity. And so you have to make sure that you give credibility. You have to make sure that you show the credibility. So for instance, once again, I'm in the financial industry. So what we do in order to show credibility is show all the different 2,500 Fortune 500 companies that are on our shelf. What we do is we talk about our partnership with a company called Ethos, which is a company that just got ranked by Forbes magazine as the #1 life insurance company for all of 2024. We talk about that partnership. We talk about their company. We talk about their technology and how it just got evaluated at $2.5 billion. We talk about our vision. We talk about where we're going. We talk about the things that give us credibility. And yes, these need to be factual, and yes, they need to be true, or all of a sudden you lose credibility the moment they find out that they're not true. So just make sure that you demonstrate the credibility of the company. You know, another thing that we like to talk about, because we're not just here locally in the United States, we talk about how we're in all 50 states. We talk about how we're in Canada, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and 33 different companies being an international financial company. We talk about those things because, once again, it gives us credibility. So whenever you're sitting down with a prospect and you want to recruit them to your business, it's very, very important that you show your company's credibility. Whatever that looks like for you. If you're in the mortgage business, show the credibility of your mortgage business. If you're in the real estate industry, show the credibility of your real estate firm. If you're in financial services, show the credibility of your company. And if you can do that, it allows people to know, okay, this is legit. This is a big deal, right? This isn't something out there. This isn't some side hustle. This isn't some this, that, or the third. This is a legitimate opportunity. And it's very, very, very important that you communicate that, because there's so many weird things out there. There's so many pyramid things and scam things out there. People have a natural resistance to anything that's outside the box. So when you're dealing with certain industries where you have the opportunity to make ridiculous amounts of money, if you don't show that credibility, it inserts doubt in people's minds, which will lead to them not wanting to move forward with you. So the second thought that people need to have when interviewing with you and are interacting with your company is that this is a legitimate company, this is a legitimate opportunity, and this is a credible company. So show that credibility to the best of your abilities. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have not had the opportunity to subscribe just yet, if you can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. We have about 10,000 plus active listeners, and not all of you have subscribed just yet. So if you guys can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the episode. The third thought that everyone needs to think when you're trying to recruit them to your business is that people need the product and service. If people don't feel they need the product and service, or if people don't feel that the people around them are going to need the product and service, well, then guess what? They're not going to move forward with your company, because why would you ever go sell something that nobody needs? It just doesn't make sense. So people need to see that there's a demand for the product. They need to see that there's a demand for the service, because if they don't think there's a large demand, and if they don't think that everyone around them needs the product and service, then they're going to doubt their ability to achieve success with your company. So it's very, very important that you express the need for what it is that you do. This is why I fell in love with financial services, because I could literally go to the mall right now, throw a rock, and hit somebody who would benefit from the things that I offer. I'm not saying I would ever do that, nor would I recommend anyone going to the mall and throwing rocks. But what I am telling you is I wanted to make sure that I was in an industry where it was a no-brainer, where everyone needed my product and service. And that's why I fell in love with the financial industry, because everybody wants to accumulate wealth. Everyone wants to have a bigger emergency fund. Everyone wants to make sure that if they don't come home, their family's going to be okay. Everyone needs a trust. Everyone needs a will. Everyone needs legacy planning. Everyone wants to have a higher net worth. Everyone wants to get their money working for them so that way they don't have to work for their money the rest of their entire life. Everybody wants their child to have an account so that way when they become older, they can become wealthy too. Like everyone wants to take care of their loved ones, and everyone wants to improve financially, and everyone wants to have their money organized and in a budgeted fashion. And that's what I do. That's what our company does. And so the fact of the matter is I chose this industry because there was a huge demand, which then makes it easier to recruit people to it, especially as a business owner who's trying to grow my agency. So just realize that if you want to grow your agency, if you want to recruit more people into your business, the demand for what it is that you're offering needs to be clearly defined where people feel like everyone needs it. Because if they don't feel like everyone needs it, it makes it a difficult recruitment, which is why, once again, I love being in the industry that I'm in, and hopefully you're in an industry like that as well. The fourth thought that you need every prospect to think if you want them to join you in business is you want them thinking, I am capable of having success, and I'm capable of doing this. If you are so good that you're no good, meaning you're too complex, or you just express things in such a manner that nobody feels like they can be as good as you, well then guess what? You're going to make them doubt their ability to succeed. It's not going to encourage them to want to work with you. Because if they don't think that they can achieve success, or they don't think they can learn the information, or they don't think that they can get results with you or attain the knowledge necessary in order to succeed, they're not going to move forward with you. And so it's very important that you keep things simple. I want you to remember the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, silly. For my more aggressive people, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. All right? Keep it simple. Because the more complex you are and the more difficult you make it sound and the harder it seems to learn, the less they're going to want to move forward with you. So whenever I sit down with somebody, my goal is to keep things super simple. My goal is to keep things super easy. I want them to know that it's easy to learn. I want them to know that it's not complex. And I want them to know that there's no reason to be intimidated. Because in the financial industry or a mortgage industry or the real estate industry or some of these other industries, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating. And it's your ability to bring down that guard and let them know, hey, listen, don't be intimidated by this. I didn't know anything about finances before I got into the industry. But luckily, we have an incredible training program. We teach A to Z. It's not that difficult. Now, all of a sudden, they have a lot more confidence in their ability to learn the knowledge necessary and in order to get a result. So I just want to challenge you, keep it simple. Don't be so good you're no good. Don't come across with all the details where you seem impressive, but now they doubt their ability to learn it. Keep it simple, and you'll see a higher success rate in your recruitment. And last but not least, number 5, the fifth thought that I want a prospect thinking when they're sitting down with me is that this is not too good to be true. You know, especially being in an industry like mine, the financial industry, which is the most highly compensated industry in the world and the largest industry in the world, compensation tends to be unbelievable because most people can't fathom the amount of money that gets made in our industry. So because of this, a lot of times it can sound too good to be true. There's sometimes when I'm breaking down the compensation of our company and I literally think this is too good to be true. And if I wasn't actively working in the company and actively earning the incomes that I'm going over, I would doubt it as well. And so what I try to do is I try to put it into layman's terms where people can sit down with me and they feel confident in what it is that I'm going over, and they can actually tangibly see why it's even possible and how it's even possible for us to pay out the amount of money that we're paying out. And so I put it into terms that they understand. So the first thing that I cover is profit margins. So let me give you an example. Let's say I was selling the Celsius. The profit margin on the Celsius can only be so high, and so the profit margins are low. And so when you're able to communicate this in a business fashion, it makes people understand on how they can pay us so much money in our industry. So let me explain. So let's say I'm selling the Celsius. There is the printing of the label, there's the coloring, there's the actual material, there's the aluminum can, there's the machines that shape the aluminum can, there's the liquid, there's the ingredients of the liquid, there's the workers that are working at the factory, there's the lighting of the factory, there's the electric bill, the gas bill. There's so much going on and so much overhead when it comes to making the Celsius can. By the way, that's just the building of the can. That's not even including the distribution of it. That's not even including the truck drivers. That's not even including the boxes that the cans go in. That's not including the gas of the truck. That's not including the cost of the truck. That's not including the wear and tear on the truck. And then they get to a 7-Eleven, and then they have to put a little margin on it so that way they can actually make profits. So because of the Celsius costs so much to make, yet they can only charge so much for it, the profit margins become very, very small, which means that there's only so much money that you can make selling Celsius, and that's the way that it is with most products out there. And so being in the financial industry, you give me $1 and I turn that dollar into $2 and there's no overhead. So what does that mean? That means that the profit margins are higher, which gives the companies the ability to pay out commissions at a lot higher of a rate. The second thing that I always like to communicate to people is that companies are profitable. So let me give you an example. Let's say I sit down with a family and that family puts $500 a month into a retirement account and or a college fund or whatever it might be. How long does somebody typically have a college fund? For 20, 30 years. How long does somebody typically have a retirement account? For 20 to 30 years. How long does somebody typically have life insurance? Their entire life. So the life insurance companies and the financial companies that we work with, they know they're going to make their money over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And so they're willing to pay us out upfront large commissions because they know that they're going to make their money over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And so when I'm sitting down with the prospect, I like to communicate that with them because it explains to them how these financial companies can afford to pay us out so much money. It's because profit margins are high. When selling financial services, there's not an actual overhead of a product. You invest money, you turn that money into more money. When you're selling a product like this, there's a lot of overhead, which means profit margins are low, which means there's only so much money that you can make. And then also relating it back to the fact that the clients put in money for long periods of time, companies will make money on the back end, which is why they can afford to pay us out so much money on the front end. So if you can demonstrate to the people that you're sitting down with that it's not too good to be true, now they become a lot more open to the opportunity once again. So if you can do these 5 things when sitting down with a potential prospect, it's going to make it a lot easier to recruit them. It's going to make it a lot easier to grow your business. It's going to make it a lot easier to scale. But remember, learn it, master it, teach it, and duplicate it, because it's not just your ability to communicate this, it's your ability to teach other people to do it on their own, which will lead to you becoming successful and building the biggest business possible. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you got something out of today's message, if you can like, share, and subscribe once again, that would mean the world to us. Once again, we put out all this information for free, and all we ask is that if you learn something, that you share it with other people. Like, share, subscribe, share it. All of that would mean the world to us. So thank you guys so much. God bless, and I'll see you guys next week on the Leaders Only podcast.